Hey YouTube, Joeboy here. So, this video will generally be about the Big Mom Pirates, but we're going to start off with, and the majority of the video is going to be dedicated to Charlotte Smoothie. Because I really think that it's only through understanding her can you understand the larger concepts, and why and in what ways the Big Mom Pirates are misunderstood. But anyway, Smoothie is the butt of jokes within the community, and not without reason. I think that it's fair to have some high expectations for Yonko commanders, as that's how Oda has generally built them up in the story. You know, Ben Beckman staring down Kizaru in Marineford, Jack ravaging Zoe, then attempting to solo a marine ship carrying Doflamingo protected by Fujitora, Suru, and Sengoku. King soloing of the entirety of the Big Mom Pirates, including Big Mom herself. Katakuri's own heroics in Whole Cake Island and his eventual defeat, a product of an opportunity that he chose to give Luffy. These are some of the most exciting and strongest characters in the pirate world, and likewise the One Piece universe. I think that as a community we see Yonko commanders through rose-colored glasses. You know, a reason to be hyped and excited, and a promise of great individual moments and fights. Despite an incredibly promising debut, Smoothie has received none of this. At every possible opportunity, despite being implied as the third strongest Big Mom pirate, behind Big Mom herself and Katakuri, Oda has found every opportunity to limit her impact on the story. In her introduction, she was tasked with the protection of Big Mom's poneglyphs, explained by Tamago as Mama's path to becoming king of the pirates. Of the utmost importance, he predicted that the Strats may target the poneglyphs and asked for Smoothie's help. One clever distraction later by Pedro though, and Smoothie is locked out of the building and literally calling Tamago for advice on how to handle the situation. She then decides, based on this advice, it isn't important to break the door open because Brook the thief would need to come out at some point in time. But then her significance is thwarted yet again by Big Mom, who arrived to deal with the situation herself. Smoothie was introduced, had a significant role to play, but never played it. This is not the only example. Let's go to the tea party. Does anybody remember what Smoothie did before the portrait of Mother Carmel was broken and Big Mom began screaming? If you did, that's pretty impressive, because all she did was serve some giraffe juice and ask Katakuri why he was acting strange. During all of the chaos that ensued, Luffy emerging from the cake and everybody's arrival, Smoothie did nothing. She failed to act at all. And then Big Mom began screaming and Smoothie's panel time actually went up. We got at least 2 panels of her covering her ears in roughly 2 chapters, ignoring the flashback. So was she involved in the Big Mom Pirates regrouping after Capone's failed assassination attempt? No, not really. Katakuri used his mochi powers to create earplugs. Smoothie grabbed Nami, but was immediately repelled by Revujo. And then Capone used Big Father, and Smoothie wrung out the poison while patiently waiting for others to decide what to do for her. Then before they could do anything, Big Mom woke up, she regained her senses, and took it upon herself to act. Smoothie again relegated to the role of catching anybody who might try to flee, which somehow didn't amount to much either. In the fight that eventually ensued, we finally have Smoothie's first real victory. We're putting victory in quotation marks because that's what was implied in the manga. The actual fight of Revujo and Smoothie was off screen, but explored in more depth in the anime, and unfortunately here, Smoothie did not defeat Revujo. Charlotte Galette did. So during the entire sequence of the tea party, Smoothie actually did nothing. Then the Tamate Bako explodes and the Straw Hats and allies escape. Smoothie, however, is confident that they will track them down. As she says this to Big Mom, she is the first to notice. Big Mom is beginning to rage. Here again, Oda presents Smoothie with a terrific opportunity to do something significant, only for her to fail. Smoothie runs for her life from Big Mom, yelling for all the Big Mom pirates to do the same. In the middle of this, Opera's life was actually taken. As a sweet commander and as the third strongest member of the Big Mom Pirates, I hold Smoothie responsible for this. She failed Opera. After this, and after what seems to be a pretty, sizable moment, Smoothie collects herself enough to realize that the only way to succeed is give Big Mom a cake. So she states the obvious: we must make the cake. But she hadn't yet considered most of the variables involved. They had none of the carefully procured ingredients. The head chef Stroyzen was injured and out cold. The cake itself took days to make. Smoothie was the very first to notice that Big Mom was raging, the very first with the opportunity to do something about it. Considered to be one of the most important members of the Big Mom Pirates. And this was the best that she could do in the span of probably a minute. Smoothie, given an opportunity, has no solution. Instead, Perospero and Pudding do, despite them becoming aware of the situation after Smoothie. Here, both upstage Smoothie as a decision maker and as a leader. Perospero promised Big Mom the Straw Hats had the cake, and Pudding volunteered to make the cake with the help of Chiffon. Smoothie had every opportunity to contribute in some way and failed. Again. This makes 3 for 3. We could go panel for panel through the rest of Whole Cake Island, but her endeavors past this point aren't of much significance either. But it all follows a pattern. Oda has been very consistent with Smoothie's portrayal, even as the community screams that he has ignored her. Maybe you should consider whether or not you understand her, and what Oda intends to do with her. Smoothie's most defining quality, I believe, is her lazy patience. This line by her subordinates, I think, sums it up best. It's been one pointless runaround. We should have just stayed on standby at Cacao Island and enjoyed some chocolate and tea. He's so impatient. Men are idiots. Smoothie and her entire squad don't care to take initiative, take charge, and when they do so, they're patient to a fault. Every example demonstrates this. Tamago asked Smoothie to defend the poneglyphs. She did not come up with this plan herself or take the initiative herself. When she gets locked out, rather than acting or deciding what to do for herself, she instead calls Tamago to ask him what he thought. Eventually, she decides to patiently wait for Brooke to come out, only to do nothing because Big Mom decides to take care of it herself. At the tea party, Smoothie did nothing in the chaos. Almost always she waits for orders and plans of others. And when she makes plans herself, they are always patient and low risk. Follow the Straw Hats and catch up slowly. Catch them in your trap. In this respect, I think that she's inherited a bit of Big Mom. Big Mom also has a side to her that loves patient, careful plans and traps, such as luring the Straw Hats to Whole Cake Island or betraying the Vinsmoke. But this patience comes with a factor of laziness. Smoothie doesn't want to do anything. As her subordinates aptly say, our time would have been better spent just waiting in Cacao Island, eating chocolate, and sipping tea. Seemingly very little concern for the present circumstances. Anytime that she acts or takes charge, it's the last resort, or a favor for another, or the result of a direct order, often from those who are supposed to be lower rank than her. I think that through Smoothie, Oda is trying to communicate something about the Big Mom Pirates. Smoothie being lazy, unmotivated to lead or do anything. That represents something about the Big Mom Pirates. The problem with Smoothie's combination of attributes is often this leads to her failing to act despite her implied individual strength and role on the Big Mom Pirates. Tamago acted to protect the poneglyph. Smoothie followed. Smoothie asks Tamago what to do and decides to do nothing herself. Then Big Mom acts instead. At the tea party, Smoothie waits and watches as Katakuri tries to be the hero essentially by himself. She waits and watches as Capone goes into Big Father. She's so slow in beating Reiju, Galette does it instead. Big Mom rages and Smoothie actually has no idea how to deal with that situation, and again relies upon others. In the chase that followed, Smoothie could not deal with unanticipated flaws in her plan. I would guess because she didn't have enough time to develop a solid plan to begin with. One that considered all of the variables. And let's be real, the vast majority of it was not her plan anyway. Montdor and Perospero were calling the shots. So her role was simply to observe the situation at hand and adjust the plan as necessary in order to accomplish their objectives, which she failed. She fails to prepare and react. She was confident she would take out the Strats, but underestimated Jinbei's helmsman skills, and when the plan failed, she instead chose patience and a different course of action that would be less risky. Smoothie really does not take chances at all, which is probably why she did nothing at the tea party. As Smoothie almost had the Straw Hats in her grasp around Cacao, the Vinsmoke appeared, which she was unprepared for. Then again the Fishman arrived, she was unprepared for. And with Wano with King, and again with Marco, she was unprepared for. Smoothie cannot react quickly. We see this every single time. Smoothie is the opposite of Clutch. She has little to no reactionary skills. However strong she may be in a straight-up fight, it does not matter when you can't deal with the unexpected. But it's important to remember we're talking about it through Smoothie, but this is a problem with the Big Mom Pirates as a organization. If your entire persona is patience and laying a trap, but your traps are flawed, and your patience allows for unexpected variables to ruin your plan, then you as a fighter are pretty much irrelevant. And that is exactly the case with Smoothie. People out there say Smoothie is trash, and I agree, but probably not in the way that you're expecting. People say Oda does not know what to do with Smoothie. I disagree. She is trash, and it is entirely purposeful at this point, and the flaw will have its moment in the future of One Piece. So this is the main theory portion of this video, but I think that this theory is true with plenty of canon evidence supporting it. Smoothie isn't Clutch because she has never needed to be, and Big Mom does not reward leadership on her crew with the title of Sweet Commander. As they say, Mom knows best. Big Mom controls every aspect of her children's lives, and her greatest requirement has always been simple: listen to her and do what she says. I think that those who do this best are Sweet Commanders, and it is not really indicative of your actual value as a fighter in a vacuum. Smoothie is very loyal, she is very strong, and follows orders. She's Big Mom's soldier, but she is not a leader. Oda actually had her drop a line in one of the recent chapters which epitomizes this. Smoothie said, "Mama decided, we follow." End of thought. This is the kind of character that Big Mom selects as a Sweet Commander. She does not value leadership skills, or those who may be adept at acting on their own, because Big Mom herself wants control over everything, and does not want anybody doubting her or talking back. As an example, Big Mom chooses Pudding's wedding gown, and Pudding herself gets no say. Pudding has a ... here of what I assume to be some kind of resentment or disappointment. It was in fact behavior just the same as this that led to Lola leaving the Big Mom Pirates and Big Mom's failed alliance with the Giants. The lesson I gather is that Big Mom's controlling nature is a detriment to her pirate crew's success. This is a direct contrast to the Straw Hat Pirates and Luffy as a captain. Luffy acknowledges that he needs his crew, that there are many things that he cannot do and he cannot succeed without them. Big Mom is the same in the sense that there's many things that she can't do and she needs her crew, but she does not realize this, and does not often grant her crew autonomy, or reward children who act on their own, not unless they are perfect. As it pertains to Smoothie, the first example shown is really all that needs to be said. Smoothie tries to act on her own and Big Mom shoves her out of the way to deal with it herself. That is how Smoothie was raised. That is how Smoothie has learned to operate within the Big Mom Pirates. She has never needed to take initiative, and so those skills were never developed. There are other leaders within the Big Mom Pirates, but coincidence or not, they all tend to be older children. Smoothie is just 35. The ones who seem to be taking charge often, Katakuri, Perospero, Mondor, or Oven, are all older than Smoothie. I think that there's an element of seniority within the Big Mom Pirates, and Smoothie does not care or is not able to fight against that, making her a pretty shallow Sweet Commander. Another element of this that I think is worthy of consideration is, we know that Big Mom demotes people from Sweet Commander because Knack was a Sweet Commander, and then he lost to Rouge, and then it became the Sweet Three. Characters like Daifuku and Oven and Perospero and maybe even Mondor, at some point in the past, were they Sweet Commanders? We see them act, and we see Smoothie, who's supposed to be above them, sort of listen to their orders, and it doesn't make any sense to us. But from their perspective, they've been leaders for a long time. I would almost wager money Oven and Perospero were former Sweet Commanders. They just failed or lost and were demoted. Or in the case of somebody like Mondor, I don't think that he was ever a Sweet Commander, because Big Mom would have never seen him as the kind of child she would have desired to be one of her commanders. Big Mom wants complete control. The only time Montdor got any shine was when Big Mom was raging and out of her mind. Montdor probably has incredible leadership skills, which Big Mom never rewarded, and never valued, and so never strengthened. But when Big Mom is not there or is incapacitated, the other children, the siblings, they appreciate this. And so they give Montdor some control, because that is his talent. And I think that you can generally apply this to all the Big Mom pirates, like, for instance, in a character like Lola, who is very individualistic. To survive within the Big Mom pirates, you cannot be the kind of person that would go and become a captain of a pirate ship, because Big Mom is the captain. Those of strong will are in many cases probably weeded out, unless their will is specifically to serve Big Mom's dreams, her desires, and her whims. As we've learned in the recent chapters, this is a direct contrast to Kaido's crew, and Luffy's as well, both of which value personal ambition, because it is that which typically makes one strong. The only ambition Big Mom allows for is the ambition to serve her, and nothing else. Another thing worthy of consideration, the Big Mom pirates have been relevant for over 30 years. So when Big Mom first took control of part of the New World after Rocks collapsed, and when they fought against their rivals and established their fearsome reputation, Smoothie was very young. Siblings such as Perospero, Katakuri, and Oven, and Daifuku were old enough to have been part of this and grow because of it. But I think in comparison, the younger children have been sheltered and lived, for the most part, in peace and at ease. In One Piece, great conflict allows one to surpass their limits. And for the majority of Big Mom's children, especially those that are younger, they've never experienced this. That is why the majority of these strong Big Mom pirates are older. This could contribute to both Smoothie's laziness and her lack of need to be authoritative and clutch. Simply stated, the Big Mom pirates have been in little to no danger for the vast majority of her life. She and many of the other children have grown up arrogant, with little need to grow, and in a lot of cases probably little desire. Guys, Smoothie actually represents this flaw in the Big Mom Pirates organization and flaws in their captain Big Mom. She is trash on purpose to illustrate an idea Oda is communicating. The era of the Big Mom Pirates will soon be over. I think that a connection I have not seen others make is the quality Big Mom selects for in her sweet commanders: defense, carefulness, loyalty, and subordination. I think to some extent Big Mom selects sweet commanders who are most similar to her. Big Mom has never been injured in battle before and values skills of the same nature. Cracker wears a biscuit cocoon that prevents him from taking damage. Katakuri has foresight, an ability which complements this to create a very powerful defense. I assume Smoothie's ability as well provides versatile and reliable defense. A small example of this is against Reiju. Reiju's poison would have killed most who were not prepared, but Smoothie's fruit was the perfect counter. I think Smoothie's fruit is very versatile and plays to her strengths as a character, with a defensive focus. But it is not just about defensive abilities and techniques. Carefulness and patience plays a factor as well, because those who are not careful will eventually lose. I believe Big Mom demotes those who lose, evidenced by Snack's demotion after his loss to Arouge. She's a strict and demanding mother. Cracker's powers and his strategy lend towards patience, because his number one strength is defense, which is a stalling tactic. So against strong opponents, I think that Cracker would typically win due to patience, not exposing himself, defending when it is required. But in this fight, Cracker lost due to impatience, because he got frustrated and tired of the battle and assumed after 11 hours he would have already won. So quite a bit of arrogance. Similar to Luffy's second fight in the arc against Katakuri, this became a battle of willpower. Cracker's intention was to win via patience, but sensing the nature of the battle, Luffy outpatienced him. The very idea of Katakuri's haki is by nature careful. He sees several seconds into the future and almost never puts down his guard. Again, against Luffy, Katakuri was very careful, very patient. And so Luffy used the nature of the battle in order to serve himself. He used it as training, until it too became a battle of willpower. And Luffy here again proved that he wanted it more. This is another way in which the Big Mom Pirates and the Straw Hat Pirates are polar opposites. Luffy is not careful, and sometimes he loses because of that, like against Caesar. Luffy didn't know what his devil fruit was and lost because of it. This happens fairly frequently in the story. Big Mom's children who act like Luffy would probably never become Sweet Commanders, or at the very least never be able to hold that title, simply because it's likely that you will at some point lose to somebody Big Mom was not expecting you to lose to, and she is unforgiving of those who fail in this way. But the flip side of having no care is having too much care, waiting for so long that you provide your opponent with an opportunity to beat you they otherwise would not have had. This is the Big Mom Pirate's sin. Oda kind of explores this concept again in the fight of Snack versus Arouge. We don't really know Snack's powers, but Arouge's powers are implied to be the more damage he takes, the more powerful he becomes. So in a long, drawn-out fight that becomes essentially a battle of willpower, you only make Arouge stronger. So that is why Arouge was able to win. Probably because Snack was too patient and too careful, or his powers did not lend to offense, so he was unable to execute a finishing blow. Another theory is that I don't believe that the Big Mom Pirates have been on the offensive much in the New World. For several decades at least, a huge component of Big Mom's dreams is protecting Totlin. That is her paradise, the place Mother Carmel dreamed of, and so Big Mom accumulates strength over time, patiently, here, until victory against her greatest foes elsewhere is assured. She protects Totlin and uses this place to get stronger. She makes her children here and makes alliances here and waits until she feels confident that her enemies will definitely lose in a fight. But this opportunity has never presented itself because Big Mom is that patient. She never defeated Whitebeard, she never defeated Roger, she never defeated Shiki. She waited so long that they were eventually defeated elsewhere and then replaced. Or in the case of Roger, she waited so long that he accomplished her dreams before her. It's implied that he didn't even need to fight her. He snuck into Whole Cake Island, stole a rubbing of her road poneglyph, and then left. Which is probably why she is so intent on capturing Luffy now, because she's seen how this story worked out in the past. But going back to the idea that the Big Mom Pirates have not been on the offensive and have a strength in defense, I'm of the opinion, my theory is that the Big Mom Pirates are strongest when it comes to defense because they actually have had to defend Totlin. So this would give us a functional reason as to why Big Mom would prefer children with a strength in that area, and why she and the children as a whole tend to prefer making plans and traps. But that only works when the enemies come to you, not when you are going after your enemies. This is again a factor of carefulness. The children learned it from somewhere. Whereas Luffy rams his head into each progressive enemy, Big Mom over the years has not and played the long game, with exception recently to Luffy himself as she chased him into a rival's territory. I think that she's taught her children the very same and values that skill set in her commanders. But it is not always what is prudent. There seems to be this general impression within the community that Yonko commanders are only good when they are capable and hype and accomplish some kind of feat, as though this is all we have seen in the story. Certainly many get this kind of portrayal, but several have not. Do you guys remember what Marco, Jozu, and Vista accomplished in Marineford? Marco, Jozu, and Vista are presumed to be essentially Whitebeard's commanders, the very top tier of the Whitebeard pirates at the time of their defeat. What did they accomplish in Marineford? Not much. Jozu lost a leg to Doflamingo, Marco was cuffed for a large part of the fight, and Vista held off Mihawk for a time. Now truthfully, their lack of success wasn't entirely their fault. Often they lost in a moment of distraction, such as Squardo impaling Whitebeard, but the point is portrayal and feats. Just like Smoothie, outside of their introduction, did they get much shine? No. The era of Whitebeard was over, and they were not obstacles the heroes of the story needed to overcome. Whitebeard was sick, which created openings that the crew had never seen before. These openings led to shocking moments, and Whitebeard's strongest crew members losing. Oda found their flaw and used it against them, in order to limit their impact on the story, and emphasize a greater concept and world building, which is precisely the very same thing that he is doing to the Big Mom Pirates. Why is this the case? My opinion, guys, the era of the Big Mom pirates is over. And when it is all said and done, they are not going to be considered significant enemies within the One Piece story. At least not in the same way that we thought that they would be. I believe that each of the three Sweet Commanders embodies traits about the Big Mom pirates that are in fact flaws. Cracker fears taking damage, Katakuri fears showing weakness, and Smoothie fears taking action. I believe characters in One Piece get portrayed differently depending on the role Oda has in mind for them. I could argue this, but it would take a lot of time. I think that this is self-evident. So even characters of similar rank and status, but on different crews, can be portrayed very differently. Oda's primary intention with Smoothie is not to have her earn feats in battle and be impressive. It is to set up and explain why the Big Mom pirates will eventually go down. It is as simple as this. This kind of portrayal is not that of a significant enemy within the story. Her character and role primarily exists as foreshadowing and exposition for the larger world building and plot to come. And so here we are in Wano, the Big Meme pirates, often despised and abused by the community. I think that you need to understand why they're taking all of these losses, because it allows you to better appreciate the story and the ideas Oda plays with, and presents to us at great effort. These waterfall jokes in Wano are 2 years in the making, starting from the cleverly laid out clues in Whole Cake Island. The plot twist we weren't expecting after arriving in Whole Cake Island for the first time is that the Big Mom pirates are extremely flawed. Why has Smoothie fought nobody in the battles she has had off-screen? Because Oda is communicating something more important by skipping these fights and having Smoothie fail. The Big Mom pirates are dysfunctional and have survived the years through their reputation, carefulness, and defense, and the individual strength of some of the family members by nature. After 40 years of survival and supremacy, the Iron Balloon pirates will pop, spurred on by Big Mom's impatience at the fact that she is nearly 70 years old and still has not accomplished her dreams. She's finally taking risks that earlier in her life she would have never made. But after spending so long without training in these skills, she's finding that her and her crew are not able. Again, another striking parallel. How did Gold D. Roger become king of the pirates? Recklessness and fearlessness. Putting himself in situations that he could grow from. Putting himself in situations that nobody thought that he could win. But he won anyway. Whether it had been from luck or from determination. And earned the respect of the world and eventually the title of Pirate King. But let's make this clear, guys. The Big Mom pirates are still very strong. Smoothie in particular is still very strong. I believe at some point in time in the story, even if it is as they lose, Oda will demonstrate this. Their strength just comes secondary to the aims of the story. Oda is going to build up the world that allowed for the existence of the Big Mom pirates, and build up a world which is going to lead to their defeat, exploring various themes along the way. As a fan, I think that you have to come to terms with this. Oda has hyped up the Big Mom pirates as impressive and powerful contemporaries of some of the greatest enemies we are going to encounter in the One Piece story. Only from that point, brought them down. Because their era is over. Just the same as Whitebeard's was. So I leave this video with this final thought. Smoothie is trash. The Big Mom pirates as a whole are extremely flawed. And that is what I like best about them. But yeah, guys, that is all I had to say today. As always, I'm curious as to what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.